Good to see you. And it's good to see James Creedon. He's here with Media Watch. James, where are we starting?
All right, we're going to start with the front page of Newsweek today because I just thought it was an interesting, what would you say, juxtaposition that you've got all of this unrest surrounding the supposed fallout of the movie, even though I think that was probably just more of the spark that set it all off, really. And also the first year anniversary of Occupy. So here you've got the front page of Newsweek, Muslim rage. Now they were criticised for that actually because it was seen as something a little bit a bit of a caricature of what's going on and unhelpful and perhaps inaccurate journalism, really, to say the least. Newsweek, tell me you're just trolling us and this isn't your cover. Now these are reactions from various journalists in the US. Is this some type of joke, says another. Newsweek, in full trolling mode, it would be despicable if anyone actually read it. So people kind of saying that perhaps it's a little bit like this front cover recently, which they also got an awful lot of attention for, Hit the Road Barack. In other words, they're just trying to be a little bit controversial on their front page in order to sell copy.
How unlike journalists.
Right. Well, in this day and age, anything for an old bit of bread or a crust.
Tell me about this tweet.
Right. Now, Newsweek, in order to get the whole thing going and to increase discussion, they said, hey, on Twitter, we want the discussion to be conducted under the hashtag Muslim Rage, which is nicely matching the front page headline. Now, a lot of people thought, you know what, we're not really going to start the conversation as you want us to. We're just going to mock this front page, which we think is a little bit over the top and unhelpful and bad journalism. So here you had this kind of stuff. The hummus in the fridge has gone off. I asked for coffee. He gave me decaf. I threw it in his face. Hashtag Muslim Rage. I don't think that's what Newsweek magazine was going for, actually.
Indeed.
So there you go. There's that. But also people tying it in with the first anniversary of Occupy Wall Street. So you have this sort of tweet: NYPD vows to protect Wall Street holy sites from angry protesters bent on offending the prophet as opposed to prophet.
Oh, I like it. That's quite clever, isn't it?
Right. Now,
well done to Ali Al-Bunima.
Absolutely. Now, it is 1 year on, and I remember last year, Mark, a lot of people criticising cable networks in the US and the New York Times as well for not giving enough coverage of the Occupy movement in its first couple of weeks. There was this kind of conspiracy, you could say, amongst some of silence. That, you know, they were accusing the media of conducting a conspiracy of silence. I don't think that's really how it was happening, but you know, perhaps it didn't gather the attention that it should have in the first few weeks, and then everybody jumped on it because it did become a big story.
It needs to get to a certain size before it makes any difference, doesn't it? And
that's true.
It's some people making a lot of noise via Twitter, whatever. If there's only 10 people outside one building, it isn't worth covering. Then it gets bigger and bigger. Then you get more. That's the way it works.
And it can be simplified sometimes as a sort of a social protest, as opposed, or as some sort of, you know, what would you say, crime issue, or not crime, but I suppose.
Well, you could say they were trespassing, but were they really? You know, they were in a public place.
It can be, I suppose, minimised. It was recognised as a social movement
so maybe that's
later. That's it, true, and a lack of coherency. But what's interesting is this particular study, and there are many like it that I found online today, comparing the numbers of these protests after the movie with the protests around the Arab Spring, and you can see actually that while they were quite broad, widespread around the world, Egypt, Yemen, Syria, etc., the numbers were quite low. 2,500 in Egypt. Even Syria had 500 people. So the question I'm asking is, did the media blow it up out of proportion a little bit? Maybe.
Okay, talking of blowing it up out of all proportion, tell us about the ongoing row over the royal breasts.
All right, well, they're going to sue various different papers. And let's just play these pictures first because there's a bit of satire about it. Okay. This is NMA, which is a Taiwanese media.
I hope this is funny.
Let's have a look at these pictures because what you have here is, I suppose, just a satirical take on it, really, in cartoon form. They have previously taken off Tiger Woods. They've taken off Dominique Strauss-Kahn. Here you have Closer magazine being burnt. You also have, I think afterwards, the Irish Daily Star, which published the photographs. And there you can see the Irish being nicely stereotyped as leprechauns. And I don't know what that is, pigs. This is the Italian-owned Chi magazine. And here you have the Queen. Could she be the next target, they're asking, with the way things are going. And you see a paparazzo looking in through the window. Now, there's one more thing. I have to share this, Mark, before I go. This is News Biscuit, satirical. And they have this front page: violent protests outside French embassies after Middleton pictures published. This is satirical, right? The French embassy in South Kensington was in flames last night after being overrun by English protesters unhappy with the treatment of Kate Middleton, burning French flags and effigies of President François Hollande. They threw bricks through the windows of nearby creperies and charcuteries. That didn't happen.
Okay, that is a satire. In case anybody's watching who thinks that actually happened, it did not happen. It's something James dug up because it was for fun. James, thank you very much indeed, as ever, with a sideways look at the news agenda.
Thanks, Mark.
James Creedon, what a man. Okay, that was Media Watch. You're watching Live in Paris. We're taking a short break after we're back with more news, some sport and some culture. Stay with us.